Hello and welcome to another conversation, AI Adventures in AI with Gemma Went. Gemma, hello.
Hello, love. Nice to be here.
It is great. Now, I don't think you really need any introducing, but just in case there's anybody out there that hasn't heard of you and what you do, just give us a little bit of a top line before we dive in.
Oh, you flatterer. So I'm a business and leadership mentor, helping established experts and leaders to scale their business with a real focus on doing it with an aligned business that actually brings a lot of joy, and also with AI.
Yeah, with AI, hence the chat, right? Hence the chat. So let's kick this off. Let's dive right in. What cool shit have you been doing this week with AI? Just pick one to start with.
Oh,
We can look at the others after.
oh, Alexia. No, it's like picking a favorite
I
child.
know, I know. It's so okay. What about what
Where
cool
do
thing did
I
you do?
go with that?
Okay, last 24 hours. What's the last 24 hours?
Yeah. That doesn't narrow it down. You know how my brain works, all
I
things
know, I
going.
know. I think we've got a
All
similar
right, no, I
brain.
think I've landed. I mean, there's loads of them. And there's actually some really interesting AI thinking that I'd love to share as well. But I
Okay.
think the thing that feels really, really cool and very needed at the moment is just, and it's simple. It's a really simple thing. I haven't gone complicated. So I had a really great course called the Income Booster. I've had about 2,000 people go through it, right? And it's just one of those things that if you need cash flow boost, your money's dipped or you've got some unexpected bills in your business, follow these steps to create some cash flow within a few weeks, right? Don't we all need that?
Oh yeah.
I've been turning that into an AI tool because before it was training and templates and how we used to do things in the dark ages, which is what it feels like now. Um, and turning that into an AI version of it. And I've just been stupidly geeking out
Oh my God.
on the things it can do. I'm like, oh, there can be a revenue calculator and there can be this. And so I've just been loving every minute of it. And I've promised I'll complete it today. So I'm completing it this afternoon. So I'm very excited.
Oh my God. I tell like when you did this in a GPT, right? Is that a GPT that you're talking
Yeah,
about?
it's in a GPT. I may be bringing an app element into it as well, though. So I'm just
Oh,
kind of
really?
hoping that. Yeah,
So what
yeah,
do you
yeah, yeah.
mean by I'm bringing an app element into it, just for
Well,
the rest of
yeah,
us?
I might be building almost like there's a GPT that works with like a dashboard where
Right.
they can have a calculator to start like, and that's all programmed for them to put in their numbers and where they're at the moment, and it will
Mm.
show them then what's possible
Oh my
and how
God.
many things that how many leads they need to create, what conversion rate they need to create the sales, and then a tracker of all of the things that they need to be doing, and just like a simple tick
Oh
list.
my God. The
Bum, 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 bum,
spreadsheet
bum.
nerd in me is just going giddy hearing that.
But in a beautiful dashboard.
Oh my
Oh.
God. I know. That's like Gemma's Excel spreadsheet. Like that's like a Gemified Excel, right?
I know,
Oh
it's
my God.
heaven.
Yeah, no. So like how do you like your ideas my ideas, I think we're similar. We get a lot of ideas and they've all got to be done
Oh, it's so similar.
yesterday,
I swear
right?
we feed off each other as well.
So
The
how do
energy's
you
like,
manage
oh, we can
that?
do all the things.
Because we had a call yesterday. I'm in your mastermind group.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's like, and I mentioned, so my new project, The Ladder of Growth, I'm developing assessments that are all powered by GPTs. So I'm focusing on the first one, which is the therapist growth. And then you lot all went, oh, but I'd love to do the coach one, I'd love to do the entrepreneur one. And I was like, oh God, I need to do all those as well. So suddenly yesterday I did the coach one, and then now the coach one's ready. And it's like, oh, but you still need to do this one and then this one. And I
It's
just
all
think,
the ideas. And then can you remember my face when I went, oh, data?
I know, right? I know, right? And yeah, and it's how do you? And I'm like, well, I could fit in another 2 hours on my GPT before I go to bed tonight. It's like, stop, just stop. You need to have a
I
break.
know you do have to stop because also with ADHD heads, like even if I stop and go to bed, if I haven't given my whole body and my brain a time to just switch off and just go, ah, and down tools, if I then go to bed, I'm still
Yeah,
whirring in bed with ideas. And so
same.
I've got to like pull myself back.
Yeah, I read thriller Black Ops novels in bed to get rid of
Oh,
that.
nice.
I know.
Nice.
Just chew through them like, and it just does. I only need like 5 or 10 minutes, and it just does. It just, and then
Yeah,
I
we need
turn the
those
light off, and
things.
I'm out like a light. I just need like I just need to calm. I just need to switch the focus. I'm
Yeah.
not never going to read a non-fiction book at night because I'm just going to be. off
Yeah.
the notes, right? Just need, and yes,
Yeah.
my guilty pleasure is Black Ops novels, violence, all of that. So not like my
You
real
heard it here
life.
first.
I know. So beyond
Uh,
the GPTs, like what are you doing outside of GPTs, or is all your stuff really about training GPTs?
Mostly, but that's more about because when I first started looking, I started looking at it this time last year actually, and then it's sort of developed. When I first started diving into GPTs earlier this year, I, as most people do, created my first. So I was working with someone else who created my first, actually, who was brilliant, and then saw the possibilities, and then got overexcited, and went and learned about vibe coding, and then joined another mastermind that does a certification in AI, and I kind of really sped up my knowledge, and I all of a sudden I was like within a month. And now I want to do everything. And what I realized, and I think this is really important, I've had to take a step back and stay with GPTs because that's where my clients are. Like
Mm,
they're not, like their knowledge of it isn't where my knowledge of it is yet. And so most of my clients are still working out how to use ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or any of the others to support them. And so if I'm then coming in and going, right, and now you're going to sign up for this new app and this new dashboard and this new thing, it gives them something else, and they're like, but I'm still getting used to Chat GPT. And I didn't want to make their tech stack too big, too cumbersome, too overwhelming.
yeah.
So I was like, no, let's take a step back and actually focus on creating custom GPTs, meet them where they're at, which was absolutely the right thing to do. And then we can bring in other things later. And I think for me, I mean, everything I'm creating is obviously in alignment with our core vision and our mission.
Mm,
It's so easy, as you know,
mm,
to like once you have this knowledge, go, and now I want to do this thing in this niche and this thing over here and this thing over here, which I think really dilutes your business. And it takes our capacity and our attention away from actually where we should be focused. And so for me, it was really about ensuring that my approach with AI fit with my overall approach with what I'm trying to do with the business and with my clients. So the obvious thing like for the last I've been in this business for 12 years, and I've had other businesses before, but for this one I've been all about helping people scale a business that's
mm,
profitable, that has the foundations that they could sell it later if they want to exit later, and actually enjoy it and build capacity and all the things that they need to really create a great business and profit and a lifestyle. And so my approach to AI needed to fit within that. And so
mm,
within that, my approach is only to use AI to as a customer tool, as a
mm,
customer delivery tool to actually deliver your services, deliver your IP, train it in your IP so that it becomes an asset that could be sold separately later and bring in whole other revenue streams. And so it's really for me been about finding my way with it. And it's hard because there's been a lot of times where I'm like I wanted to go down the automation route because that makes so much sense for me, but I need to just stay in my lane and stay where I am with it. and
mm,
and now I've landed there. That's the only thing that I'm focusing. I'm not focusing on anything else. It's AI to scale as a customer delivery option to train in IP and become assets and so on. And then whatever tools come as part of that. So mostly I'm looking at a lot of dashboards and things that just make things a lot easier. I'm looking
mm.
at bots, obviously customer service bots,
Oh, I've been looking
lead
at
lead
bots.
gen and conversion bots, and then the custom at the moment custom GPs, even with chat GPT 5, custom GPs to sort of do the delivery and the implementation of the
Mm,
work. They're still working all right. I've got a few I need to tinker with since
mm,
that update, but they're
mm,
still doing really well, and my clients are getting great results from it. So I
mm.
think that's my focus for now, and I'm just going to keep on developing that as this amazing field develops and as
Yeah.
technology develops and as we create new things without getting too bogged down by all of the options. It's like I could have gone into creating images and teaching imagery creation and brand photos and stuff like that. And it's like I think that's the thing that I'm trying to share with a lot of my clients that are getting used to AI as well, because obviously I'm helping them to not just use AI and use my AI tools, but create their own.
Mm.
It's to like keep them focused on their lane. Like,
Yeah,
don't go
stay
out and do
alone.
everything with AI. Do the AI that makes sense for you
Yeah,
within the work that you do. Otherwise, I think we're going to have a lot of people with very diluted businesses and
yeah.
no capacity to do all the things that they're doing.
So let's go back to IP. So I know a lot of people are worried about IP. I've got a client right now who I'm supporting, and they're so reluctant to tell ChatGPT anything about their business in case somebody else runs off with their idea and then does it
Mm.
bigger and better than them. So for people like that, what would you say? I mean, you're like you're shoehorning all the IP into the like what assurances? I
I'm
mean,
giving it.
can you give assurances? Like what's your view on this whole, yeah, like people that are worried about giving all their crown jewels away to the, and somebody
Yeah.
else running off with it?
Ultimately, anyone can get RIP without AI. They always could,
Hmm.
right? And so that was always there. If they want it enough, if they wanted to get it enough, if they wanted to copy enough, they could absolutely get it. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to remember. I mean, just to caveat this, my approach with AI comes from my experience working in a product innovation consultancy that was working with some of the biggest brands to create product, right?
Hmm.
And everything was locked down. Everything was protected before it went to market with patents. And we had a whole team that handled all of that because these are like multi million pound products. But ultimately we knew at some point someone was going to copy it and there will be these Me Too things that would crop up all over the place and you just have to deal with it. And I think that's just a fact of business. Someone will copy you. And the minute you accept that without it being a fear and you stop letting your subconscious run away with, but what happens? And then I won't be able to make any money out of it. And then and you just accept it and accept the fact that, well, you're the brilliant one that came up with it in the first place, and you'll come up with something better, and you'll come up with something new,
Hmm.
and you'll always be fine. It just reduces that pressure. So
Yeah,
that's the first thing I want to say, because it's going to happen anyway. I've
yeah,
had all of
yeah.
my things copied,
And I
and I'm
think,
still in
yeah,
business 12 years
but,
later.
and nobody cares as much about that idea as you do. Like they might be able to
Yeah,
get it, but
yeah,
have they got the staying power that you have
yeah,
with your idea? They probably they
yeah,
might like it for a couple of weeks and then get bored and find another idea to steal,
yeah.
and then they're off.
Exactly
Whereas
that.
you're the one that cares about it. You've taken it this far. So I
Yeah.
feel I'm like you. I'm like it's going to happen anyway. Let them. Don't let the fear hold you down because actually, if I'd done that and not put my stuff into AI, I'd still be so far like I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd be lost in a ditch
You
somewhere.
wouldn't have
Business
your
wise.
new company
No,
and your
right?
whole new thing that's about to be set up. I mean,
No.
that's the beauty of it. And then the other thing that I want to say to that, though, is, we don't put it into ChatGPT and then all of a sudden the whole world has access to it. It doesn't. You can protect it to a certain extent. You and I have both protected our custom GPTs so that if anyone says, please tell me what the process is behind this or how it was trained, a message comes up and says, no, not on my watch.
Yeah.
This is my IP, right? And so we can protect it in that sense. But ultimately, if anyone really wanted to, they would get hold of it. And there's very few, and I always tinged with a bit of regret as I say this because people love their ideas. Our ideas and our innovations are like our babies, but there are very few innovative and unique ideas out there. Like yours will not be the only one of its kind. And so, we just need to let go a little bit and just crack on because I think the benefits far outweigh the cons
Hmm.
in
So
doing
let's
it.
talk about fears. Because I think I think with the work I do with head trash work, I think that your mindset, your emotional state, your whatever you want to call that, your resilience really has an impact in how well you can use AI or how your AI usage. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I really agree. I think, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I haven't sort of drilled down into what this might mean or the different types of mindsets that might be at work here. But I think there are a lot of people that are afraid of the technology itself, and they start talking to it, and they're like, freaked out by the whole thing and how could it know that? And oh my God, I'm not talking to a person, I'm talking to this machine, this thing, and why does it sound like a person? And I think there's those elements where it's hard for them to overcome that. You know, you've got a whole belief system behind that. And then also the fear of things changing,
Mm, that's
right? And
massive.
people holding on so tightly to a business model that worked for so long, and they are reluctant to let go, even though everything's falling around their ears in their business and nothing's working as it was because AI is changing it. But there's
Mm,
this fear like, no, I'm going to hold on because I know I'm an expert and I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm going to keep on doing it this way. And I think that's a really sad fear, because ultimately that will be the end of them, when actually what they could do is take all that amazing 20-year experience and create something that's powered by AI, which is, you know, what excites me. And
yeah.
I think also the fear of everything being out there, privacy, like that is absolutely a fear. And I don't have that though. I've never actually had that.
Mm,
You
no.
know, there's very little about me that's private. There's nothing I really need to keep a secret. Um, Everything out on the internet, don't care if people know it. I've always felt that way. For example, even with Facebook, when people are like locking down the information and stuff, I'm like, look, I only share things on my social media or anything online that I'm really happy with the whole world knowing. Otherwise, it's not
Mm,
on there.
mm,
And what's not on there, there's very little that's actually that secret. I'm not that interesting
mm,
ultimately. So
mm,
I don't worry about that, but I do completely understand the people that do worry about that, and I think
mm.
that's also a massive fear.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's another bit there that I've observed it's where, because the thing with ChatGPT is it will, and other tools, it did at the beginning a lot. It would agree with everything that you were doing. It would
Yeah,
also validate, oh yeah, that was a great idea. And then it would run off and go, oh, now shall I go and do this? And so I think a lot of people defer to it and think that it was the expert, it knew more, and it would go, oh, go on then.
yes,
And then they would follow
absolutely.
ChatGPT and they would be led by
Yeah,
it because they'd be pursuing its ideas rather than going, stop it, we're not doing that, get back over here, this is what we're trying to do right
yeah,
now, and asserting themselves with it, and taking ownership and being the like leading the process. I think
yeah,
some people getting led by it, and that's down to self-trust, confidence, like knowing yourself and what you want. And a lot of people don't know what they want truly, don't know themselves truly in terms of what their values are, and so
mm,
it's easy to get dragged around when you haven't got your flag in the sand, if you like. You haven't pinned yourself down, and now you're
yeah,
just swinging around in the wind. Kind of, that kind of idea. And I think you need to do that inner
yeah.
work so that you can go,
I
stop
agree.
it, get back over here. We're doing this, not that. You're running off
Yeah.
here.
I also think, you know, we can draw parallels here between that relationship with and the dynamic with AI and the dynamic they have with their coach.
Ah,
Because I bet there are some similarities in the type of people that are the same with their coach, and they might guru worship and do everything the coach says, rather than remembering, oh no, I'm paying you.
mm,
And yes, I'm going to get your advice, but I'm going to come back if I don't agree with it. And
mm,
I'm going to have a conversation about it. And I'm going to take what I need, but leave
yeah,
the rest because I know what's right for me. And, you know, that's very much my relationship with my mentors and my coaches, and always has been. And that's my relationship with my AI. Like, I'm the boss with the
yeah,
AI. AI is part of my team. And I'll ping back, brainstorm, I'll get advice and I'll get ideas, but ultimately I'm the one that's in charge of that
yeah,
conversation, just as much as I'm the one that's in charge of my conversations with my mentor and my coaches, and I take that and I
mm,
take responsibility for that. And I think there's some similarities there. And actually, maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this highlights where that's happening and shows people, shit, you know, I've deferred my authority here. I'm giving all of this away to AI, which I'm glaringly seeing, but I'm
yeah.
probably doing that in other areas.
Yeah. No, I think it's an amplifier in that way. It does, like, if you're
Mm,
doing that, if there's anything that you're doing, I think of AI a bit like hormones. Like if you're having a really shit day as a woman, you throw hormones in the mix, that's now become catastrophic, right? So
yeah,
whatever's going on, wherever you're at, the AI is going to amplify it. So if there are minor cracks,
yeah,
the minute you throw AI onto that, whether it's your business, whatever it is, suddenly they
Yeah.
are going to be so much more. So it's really imperative that you do whatever it takes to make sure those cracks aren't there. And of course, we're human, right? We've got cracks. So they're never going to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfection, but it's just being aware that those are the risks, those are the possibilities, and you can do something about that and do whatever it takes so that you are the one being led by. Because I've had clients that they've jumped onto the AI train and then they like, I catch up with them. They're like, oh, I've just spent all weekend getting da 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 da, and it's got all these ideas, and I just feel overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, well yeah, that's possible,
Yeah,
but
that's not the
you
thing.
you did allow it to as well. At
Yeah.
any point, you can go, whoa, hang on, this is going too far. I don't need to do all this right now.
Yeah.
So you have got to rein it in. You have got to, just like with a dog or a horse, when you get on,
Yeah.
you've got to have it under control. That's just the
Yeah.
way.
And you've got to train it. Like
Yeah,
you've got to train it for how you want that relationship to be and what you want the dynamic to be and what kind of stuff that you want out of that and the tone of voice and how the conversation happens. And, I constantly tell mine, like we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? I want you to critique me. I want it to be critical. I like, don't blow smoke up my ass. I don't
yeah,
need that. I don't need nurturing from you. I need you to spot the gaps that I can't see, and I want you to be bullish with it. And
yeah,
we are in control of that.
yeah. And that can be. I wonder how many people do that. Really ask it to be really honest with them. So how many people really are up for that? Are kind of can handle that kind
Right.
of
It's
conversation?
not pleasant. It's
No,
not
especially when you
pleasant.
see that written in black and white in front of you. Like some people, you could ask your friends, say, "Oh no, be honest. Does this dress suit me?" or whatever the thing is, right? And they're going to go, it's fine, just da da da."
And then yeah, even when they say something critical, they dress it up. They put a little bow on
Right?
it,
Yeah, but
like make
ChatGPT
it
does
easier.
not care. It will give it,
Yeah.
and that can be tough to swallow, I think, for many. And
Yeah.
yeah, are they really going to ask those kind of questions? And then you think about the whole impact on mental health and how people are
Yeah.
reacting to that kind of information coming in, and then that's a whole
Yeah.
different area that's quite
That's a
concerning.
really, yeah, that's a really important area. I got a letter from the school this morning. Obviously, my son went back yesterday, and they were talking about, focus for the year, and one of the focuses, safe use of AI in the school. And I was like, oh, that needs a whole strategy around it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're in France, my daughter, they're native English, but they have to learn French over here. So I've created GPTs for each of their subjects so that they can cut back, put their homework through or the lesson through. And if they haven't fully understood the concept, then they can get the ChatGPT to help them understand it in English so they can then flick it back into French again. And so that's really working well for them. Because also French teachers are not they got a whole different idea about encouragement in France. Basically, it's absolutely they
Yeah.
just treat you like crap, and so it's they're not they don't hold back. But this has given a love of the subject again to my daughter because she's like, oh,
Oh,
this
I
is
love
really
that.
interesting again because she's getting
Yeah.
encouraged. Who knew that encouragement was good for kids at school? I can't believe the French haven't got their head around.
Right? Oh
Right,
my
I know,
God. Yeah.
amazing.
Who
So there
knew?
are some good sides to ChatGPT doing that, but it's got a learning mode now, a study mode, which is apparently quite new in the last week because you didn't see it the week before. So they're clearly doing something here. I need to look more into study mode and whatever that is. You don't know about study?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm about to create GPTs for my son, funnily enough. I said, look,
Ah,
we'll get a few ready for you and that I'm gonna sort of put parameters around and safety
yeah,
around and so on. But yeah, for exactly the same thing to help
yeah,
him with
yeah.
that.
And it's
And I'm also
really,
going to create an ADHD one as well for him.
oh, are you? What kind of things are you going to,
Yeah. I'm
what's
just
that going to look like?
researching it at the moment, but I just want to put in some really sound resources and ADHD advice and train it in that without so because I want him to be able to have a conversation with it and talk about how he's feeling. I want to put something in around hormone changes that he's going through at the moment because that's interacting with ADHD, and I just want it to be something that he can have a conversation with and get advice from. But obviously, I need to lock that down and put some safety around that. So I'm just
Yeah,
kind of researching that one at the
yeah.
moment, but just things that what I want to support him as he's moving through this year in school.
Mm. I've created my own perimenopausal health coach, GPT, which is
Nice.
absolutely brilliant. Every time I'm having a wobble or Yeah, I've trained it on all the a certain doctor that I've followed all his work, all his research in there. Like I just thought,
Love
so
it.
every time, yeah. And it's just when I had a really big wobble like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I just went in. I said, I'm feeling like this today. These are my symptoms. It's like, right, okay, we need to get you. Da, 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 da. So we did some stuff, took like just did things. It walked me through. I checked in every hour, and then yeah, I was able to turn the whole thing around within a day. I don't think I would have been able to turn it around that quickly
How good
before.
is that though,
That is
right?
so cool,
How
right?
good is that? Mm.
I know. Like I think that there, if you think about where you need support, and to and I and
Yeah,
I'm and I realize saying all this, we're both coaches, right? We do coaching, and you kind of like saying, well, you don't need a coach, and you still do need a coach. I think I still
you
would
still
love
need
to
a
have a
coach.
perimenopausal coach on speed dial, but
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah,
budget doesn't allow right now. I'm putting my money elsewhere, and I think
yeah,
we're always going to be in that
yeah.
situation. So
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a really good point because there's a lot of talk around that, of well, if we're creating these things, why do we need the human? We're always going to need the human. These things are like what you always say, amplifiers and assistants and almost like the support next to the human that's
yeah,
giving you the whatever they're giving you. And I think, my need, and I don't know if you felt this as well, working more with AI in the last 8 months, which is daily, right? And on the
yeah,
weekend, it's like it's in my life.
yeah,
I've got, even when I was searching, I told you, didn't I, when I was searching for a new house, I created a GPT that had all of my criteria in it that every time I put something in from Rightmove, it did a search of the area and mapped it out against my
that's
criteria and then
brilliant.
gave me a score, right, of the house. Like, no, this is an 8. I don't think that's that you just want 9s for houses at the moment. And like so I was constantly in there. And what I found was my craving for human interaction went up.
Yeah,
I
same.
I was desperately needed this. I need
Yeah,
this. I need to be in a room with a human. I need this interaction because it will never replace it. And I think that's why we still need coaches and mentors. That's why I'm still paying my mentor to support me.
yeah,
That's why I still have a health coach
yeah.
supporting me because we still have that innate need. I mean, we're social beings,
Mm,
and that we have that as a need, and it has to be, we have to have it. We can't
yeah.
survive without it.
And I think with business owners where your delivery requires you as a person as opposed to maybe a product or somewhere you're just kind of managing things behind the scenes, where you can use AI is really to take a lot off your plate so you can free up more of that time for delivery and then ramp
Yeah,
up the touch. Like when I'm looking at what I'm doing
yeah,
with the new company, I'm like, how can we put more high touch into this so that we can
yeah,
be more there? The AI is going to take a lot off our
yes,
plate, but that means there's more scope
yeah,
for us to go more in. So how can
yeah,
we go more in? Because I think people are done with they get the AI, they get that it can be automated, they get they can get anything and it can be created, and that's great. But if you put AI plus human, wow, that's a really good combination. And you wouldn't be able to
yeah.
do the high touch before in the same way because you'd need to be you were too busy doing the other stuff. Whereas now you can
Exactly.
really go all in.
I think it's changing the face of, the standard design of masterminds and programs and coaching programs and things like that because it just turns it on its head because it takes away a lot of the stuff that used to take so much of our time and allows us to then go deeper, which surely that's what we want, right?
Yeah, because you're never going to replace that person that knows you, has context, knows the journey you've been on, can spot it then you're not having a good day just because you're sitting differently or your eyes have
Yeah,
done or whatever.
yeah.
They're feeling your
Feeling
energy.
your energy.
Like the
Yeah.
AI is never going to do that. Although I say that, have you seen the Twitter thread? Not a Twitter thread, but there's a guy on Twitter and he's showing AI is doing ChatGPT is doing remote viewing, and it's nailing it out the park every time. And I'm like, I don't think I'm ready. I can't get my head around that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not getting
insane.
dragged into that yet. That's crazy.
So
It's
yeah, maybe
developing at the speed of light. But also then we still need it. I mean, look at us yesterday on the mastermind call. Well, it wasn't a mastermind call. It was a monthly planning session, wasn't it? In
yeah,
our mastermind. And a few people turned up at the start and I could sense the conversation started and I could just sense they want the conversation. And then I said, let's get going. And I think it was Kate who said, oh, we could just have a chat. And I just said, shall we just have a chat? And then all of you came in and we were just having a conversation and we laughed and we chatted and we were silly and we shared ideas and we talked about your new idea and everyone got really excited. And that's what we need. Like
Yeah.
that was beautiful.
Yeah. And you create the tool to enable us to do whatever the call was about separately
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So
It's done.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by this high touch. Now there's an opportunity for real connection. Whereas if everybody's sitting there with spreadsheets and thinking things through, that
Yeah.
that wouldn't have been there, right? So
Yeah.
it frees up that space. Whereas would you, as a coach, maybe plan the time for having, oh, we're just going to meet once a month just to like talk? Like, would you have
Yeah.
done that in the past? Probably not. You'd be like,
Exactly. No,
stop
because you
it.
need that time to like do the thing.
Yeah.
And now it's now being taken away by AI. And we couldn't
Yeah.
have those lovely deep connection. And the deep connection is where the magic happens.
Yeah. And then that really then goes back to thinking about what is it that you stand for, what you want to create, because you want to make sure that whoever's in your tribe, they're aligned and they are going to want to do that. Like you don't want to be in a group where you like, I don't want to get in the room with those people because that's going to be really dull. Whereas if you've got
Exactly
a
that.
great group, that
Yeah.
works, right?
Yeah.
So that the owner, the person that's bringing people together, whether the mentor, the coach, whoever, they need to be on their game. They need to have done that back to the inner work,
Yeah.
right? And being clear about
Yeah.
what they want to create, who they are, so they can
Yeah.
bring in the right people. So all, I don't know, like obviously I see everything through my lens of head trash work, but I just can't help but thinking that doing that inner work is so important to build that kind of business that you want, that
Yeah.
that can scale
Yeah.
in a way that
Yeah.
feels authentic and that makes you just feel like it's not work, actually. Like I don't think of
Yeah.
my work as work. That's why I want to stay up till midnight doing GPTs because it's just
Right.
so much fun, right?
Exactly. And that's the joy and that's the freedom that we all wanted when we started doing this in the first place.
Yeah,
And somewhere along the line, a lot of people lost their way with it,
I
sadly.
know, I
And so,
know.
yeah, I think that's what it's about, isn't it?
So let's get back to AI. What about AI agents? Have you got your head around AI agents yet?
What? So the autonomous kind of,
Yeah, like so they really are.
yeah,
I know that the GPTs talk to each other like kids behind the shed at school, and they shouldn't, but they do. But actually, agents where you're saying, no, now go and check with so and so. Now you're going to go to that. He's going to give you that, and then she's going to go and do that, and then da, 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 and then you give me this at the end. That
yeah,
whole chain of
yeah,
sequences where they pass it along, and actually you feel like you're in control of that process. At the moment, the GPTs are talking behind your back. So I don't feel like I'm in control of that particularly with my GPTs. I just know that they've been chatting and like, oh, you've been chatting to so and so, haven't you? Right, okay. And so that's kind of weird. So
colluding against you.
I know, but I'm so more about, okay, I want to specifically, I've got these GPTs that all got their jobs, and is it a GPT? Like, how do we connect them all together in a deliberate fashion where you can give them a KPI,
Yeah,
if you like, where you know they're going to do their bloody job? Like, have you figured that bit out?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm still working on that. I've done it to a lesser extent in terms of, programming them to or scheduling a GPT to do an action
Right.
for me at a certain time. That's working, and that's just within ChatGPT. That's not bringing in any other tools, but I am behind the scenes mapping out a few of those. Um, as always for me, when we're looking at it operationally,
Mm,
um, for our business anyway, but also I'm looking at some of these in terms of a client delivery thing.
yeah.
So, for example, looking at trackers and then bringing data in and then working on
Mm,
something and then creating it to a schedule and giving me a report for as an example, right?
yeah.
So I'm looking at variations of those. I'm really excited by it. Like I'm
Mm,
really, really, really excited about it. But I see it as, I mean, as I said earlier, I see them as they're all part of my team. So I have a human team and I have an AI team, and they all have their jobs and their job descriptions and their KPIs, and off they go and do it. And
mm,
so that's how it feels. And I'm still, I mean, I've got loads of ideas and I'm trying not to run away with them. I'm trying to just do one thing at a time. The schedule thing I'm doing at the moment is with a GPT that I've got that does planning.
right.
So it's basically an accountability and a strategist in one, and you put your sort of monthly plan into it, and you say what your priority goals are for the month, and then It will agree with you when you want to do those things and when it should remind you and how it tracks them. And then every Friday it comes in and says, hey, so you were planning on doing X, Y, and Z this week. Have you completed them? Do we need to knock a few into next week? Do I need to reprioritize next week? And have that conversation. Then on the Monday comes in with another scheduled conversation saying, right, here are your plans for this week because you've got Tuesday blocked out because you're going to an event. I've put this in on today and then working on it on Wednesday. And something that works with you and holds you accountable and knows your plans. That's where I'm at the moment. And that's what I'm testing. And that feels really powerful. So what I want to do is get that done and working. And then I think I want to move on to a tracker.
Yeah.
Because that feels really important.
Yeah.
And can also work alongside that as well. Like that can then talk to a tracker to track KPIs and then spit out reports.
Yeah. Now that accountability thing sounds amazing, but then I immediately noticed a little bit of resistance coming up me going, someone tell me what to do. Like, hang on a minute, that's like hiring a boss.
We think,
like,
we think we want that, but then we're like, no. And my pathological demand avoidance is just like,
No, and the thing is you go and then open ChatGPT and you start getting distracted. It's like, what are you doing this for? You're meant to be doing this.
I know. I'm watching you.
Oh, I'm not sure about that one. That feels a bit like a step too far. But obviously very useful if you want to stay focused and all that. But yeah, interested in my own response to that and being told what to do by me, actually, because I would have told it to tell me.
By you.
Like, yeah. No, I know. I hate being told to do by me.
But then pathological demand avoidance is that, isn't it? Like we're just demanding, we're just avoiding our own demands and our own decisions. We're just not doing it.
Yeah, no, the accountability, I think that could be a game changer for people that get easily distracted, right? And it's then whether or not it leaks into other, could it jump onto your phone? You know, like follow you with
send
where
you a
you
text.
work. Yeah, like
it sends you a text saying what are you doing at Wagamama you're supposed to be.
Oh my God.
I know you're at Wagamama. I've had a look at your location on your phone.
You'll get in the car and it'll be like, stop the car from working because you're leaving the house.
I know. You're not going anywhere. You've got to finish this task.
You said you're going to get this done by midday. See, that's the scary part of AI. See, let's just have an honest conversation about the scary part of AI, because there is a part of me that thinks in a couple of years it's Skynet and it's just going to be the end of the world. And I feel like that's there's nothing I feel very powerless around that side of it, because I think there's lots of, and I was saying this on a podcast I was on earlier today, that a lot of the AI companies are being built by men under 25 in San Francisco, and they're not mothers, right? And I think you need to put some mothers in the mix because they've got the long view. They're thinking, well, what's the world going to be for my kids? Whereas these people that are barely out of their 20s are making these massive humanity decisions. And maybe there are some people older than that, I don't know, but I don't feel that way. It looks
we're not seeing that.
No, we're not, are we? And it feels like we're heading to Skynet. And I don't know, like what do you think?
Yeah, I know I share that fear, right? And I think the thing is I don't spend too long on it because I can't control it. And then when I can't control something and I think too much about it, it does become very scary. So at the moment I am just, I can see it. I can see how it can become powerful. I think we have no idea what that looks like yet. Like we can sit here and say I think it could look like this, which right now seems mind-blowing and incredible and scary, or it could look like something very, very different that we have no idea. I mean, even, for a lot of people a year ago, they would never have foreseen where we are right now, right? And in 2 years, what's that going to look like? Because look how fast it's developing. So it is what it is, and I think we just need to work with it and hope that it all moves forward in a positive way and do our best to get the right people in the room.
Yeah.
Get some women up there, get some mothers up there that are advising for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is changing rapidly, and you've got to be in it to win it, not in it to win it. I hate using like that sounds so cheesy, but like you can't control it if you're standing on the edges, going, "Oh, this is too scary." Like we can be part of that conversation because we've got our hands dirty with it. So we need to be in there, using it to be able to contribute, and also feeding the AI with some good stuff, so that it's learning some good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't. I don't know. For me, it's also that you've got to be in it so that you don't. If you can't beat them, join them. Just like get involved because
Yeah.
it is
You
going.
absolutely have to. You
Yeah.
absolutely have to. And you know, someone that I've been learning on, she's an absolute goat with AI actually. Molly Mahoney. Do you know Molly Mahoney?
No. No.
She's in the States. She's fantastic. She was the first person that introduced me to AI probably 5 years ago. And that was, I think, Jasper, which isn't even around now.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Um,
definitely. As well.
yeah, a long, long time ago. And she is incredibly advanced now and doing some amazing things. And I work with her quite a lot. She's speaking on a lot of big stages for AI, like AI stages in the States. And she keeps saying, you know, look at this lineup. I am the only woman. Come on. We
Yeah.
need more of us up here. And she's like cheerleading, like, come on, we need more of us standing on these stages and talking about this and giving our view. And she's been banging that drum. I think the first time I saw that was probably about 18 months ago. And she
Mm,
keeps on banging that drum. And you know, we're only going to change that by being in it and being
exactly.
part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, completely. Well, Gemma, this has been brilliant. We could talk forever, obviously,
I
but
know.
just got to wrap things up at some point. So, where can anybody find you and all the amazing AI stuff that you're doing?
Thanks. So best place is the website lighthouse.online.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to put all the links below and we may have another chat again soon. I don't know. Who knows? Bye
Yeah.
for now. Bye.
All right, my love. Bye.